Hi, this is Craig Lane with a little video endorsement for a fermentation product called Pollen Up, Green Dream, and Beet Kvass. I've watched Kelly Deary and her company really move forward over the years of creative cultures, and now they are looking at really promoting these products. And being a man that taught and has taught this over many, many years, and having Kelly trying to get this more into the mainstream, I'd like to say that for detox, in today's world, if you're drinking a beet kvass daily, especially if you're having a full 16-ounce one, then what you're getting there is you're thinning your bile, you're offering probiotics, and you're also, beets are said to correct disturbed cellular function. So you're also correcting some imbalance and potentially getting yourself on the road to, maybe if you have gallstones or sludge, because all a gallstone is in my world is sludgy, thick bile that may or may not have, some people have gallstones because there may be a parasite or some form of microbe that the body has encapsulated. And in my practice, we can actually see this via the sclera and the iris, what we call encapsulated stress. And it's very, very far along in the what we call the toxic stress cycle. So drinking a beet kvass can give you a lot of things. And because microbes and pathogens and even sometimes little worms and flukes, in my theories, they like to hang out in the bile duct because there isn't a lot of immune activity in there potentially. And there's a lot of, like I said, stagnant bile that might be hanging out. So what the beet kvass is going to do is going to flush some of those critters through by offering better flow and by dissolving the sludge, so to speak. The Green Dream is a very simple drink. Moving on to that, it's basically liquid chlorophyll and mint in water, and the chlorophyll has been isolated from various forms. I'm not going to go into where it's isolated from at this point. You can go to their website and read about the bottle. But chlorophyll helps also disturb cell function, and chlorophyll has been well known in my practice. I've gotten great results topically with healing, and internally it can help heal the gut lining. So chlorophyll in general, being the plant blood, is going to be very helpful for our blood, building healthy blood. And then the Pollen Up, which mixes quite well, by the way, with the beet kvass. If you do 8 ounces of Pollen Up and 8 ounces of kvass, you have a great cocktail there, a healthy cocktail with a tiny bit of alcohol in it. I mean, tiny bit. So what we're getting there again is this kefir culture, just like the kvass. You're getting a kefir culture in bee pollen, which is high in flavonoids. It's going to be high in vitamin C. It's also going to have a lot of benefit, again, to the mucous membranes and the energy systems of the body, because what you've got is fermented honey. And you've got fermented honey and, what's the word there, bee pollen in a base with a little bit of salt. So you've got some trace minerals in there. And it tastes good. So if you include one of these drinks in your daily routine, so to speak, then you're going to get a probiotic. And there's lots of evidence that cultured whey, as the Garden of Life people are beginning to do detoxes with just drinking liquid cultured whey, I believe that detox is occurring because we're getting more beneficial microbes in our body. And the more research I do about microorganisms in our body and how plants use microbes in their own roots, which the plant roots are the plant brain, and get over it, people, plants have a nervous system. The research now is very clear. We get a lot of our precursors for our own neurotransmitters from plant material and food material, and then our microbes also. So what Kelly's done here is really given the public something that is a live product as opposed to these pasteurized juices, which are a huge stress on the pancreas. I don't care how many vitamins, nutrients they say are in these pasteurized juices. That sugar doesn't have any enzymes to digest it, so your pancreas is going to have to use insulin. And in the long run, it's not worth it. If you're going to do a juice and it has to be pasteurized, make it a low sugar green juice, which some companies are doing. And even so, once a juice is made, within a matter of hours, it's pretty fairly worthless in terms of nutrient content. And worthless is subjective. You know, there's a relative scale here. I do save juices sometimes for a day or two in the fridge, but typically I'll do what Kelly does and I'll add a kefir culture to it or some yogurt or some probiotic. Just the microbes can kind of help keep it preserved on some level, even in the refrigerator. And you can freeze juices too. But point being is that what Kelly's got here is something living. It's live, and there's going to be a lot more support for the body as those who have done cured themselves of diabetes with raw food diets and arthritis and various other syndromes. Really, if you can digest and utilize raw foods, and that's the way to go. I am not a raw foodist. I'm not an ist or an ism anything, but the data is very clear. When people that are in degenerative situations and they can digest raw food, you want to get a lot of raw food in them. If they can't digest raw food, then you want to get things in them, maybe in a liquid form like juices with some protein and fat. Depends on whether they're deficient or in excess, right? If they've got excess to burn, then you can use it. But if they've only got a little bit of clay in their clay of chi, you might say, then you got to build them up a little bit before you can detox them. So these drinks are very regulating, harmonizing. They're not draining, nor they cause you to gain a lot of weight unless you're drinking like, 4 or 5 a day for weeks on end, and you might gain a little weight, but it'll probably be happy weight. So if you're going to overdose on any drink out there, Creative Cultures definitely has my vote as a drink that anyone can even overeat, overdrink, and probably end up correcting yourself in the long run anyways. Craig Lane with Health Alchemy is signing off with an enthusiastic endorsement for Creative Cultures and their products.